I think we're very close to autonomous cars. I see them potentially within the 10 to 15 year horizon. We're already seeing elements of autonomous cars right now on cars you can purchase right now. Cars can detect if you're veering out of your lane. They will apply the brakes if you're getting too close to the car in front of you. We have adaptive cruise control that varies the speed depending on the car in front of you, whether or not you have cruise control. And so and they will tell you if you're falling asleep, and they're the ones who are staying awake. So there's certainly elements of autonomous cars we're already finding in cars on the market. Of course, Google's had its own autonomous cars that's driven over 1 million kilometers, and that's driven certain jurisdictions in the US to start developing the licensing required to have autonomous vehicles out in the street. So not only is the technology almost to market, but I think some of the legal and regulatory barriers are starting to fall. Autonomous vehicles have a number of advantages in terms of dealing with traffic. So the first one is you don't need as much room to fit as many cars, autonomous cars, as cars with drivers, so regular cars. The same highway can take twice as many autonomous vehicles as it can regular cars. So infrastructure doesn't need to grow as quickly. In fact, with existing infrastructure, we could get quite a bit more traffic in without slowing it down. So that's certainly one of the advantages. It also causes fewer incidents. So you have fewer accidents, which in turn cause fewer disruptions. There's probably another advantage, which is the fact that autonomous vehicles don't require quite as much infrastructure. So we build our road infrastructure to deal with the fact that humans are imperfect drivers. So we have fences, we have more signaling, we have many ways of making sure that people stay on the road. And that infrastructure is not so necessary with driverless cars. In this case, governments will have an incentive to make sure that people adopt it faster, because for governments, the cost of having driverless vehicles is much lower than that of having regular cars with drivers, because fewer incidents, because there's less road infrastructure required, and so they will probably incent us to change our behaviors and adopt those faster. So whereas governments tend to not necessarily want to encourage new technology adoption, they don't necessarily want to discourage it, but they don't really play that game. In this case, they will want to encourage adoption of that new technology and may financially incent us to do that, and I think that will accelerate social acceptance of autonomous vehicles.